Hello and welcome to I Am Well podcast. I'm your host Gemma, a nutritionist and a hormonal fasting coach, passionate about self-development through a holistic lens. But my biggest mission is to help empower women and get them to reconnect and trust their bodies again. So if you're a woman who just wants to better herself and live her best life, you're listening to the right podcast. So let's get to it. Welcome back to I Am Well podcast. Today I have another special guest. This is actually our last guest for 2024 on the I Am Well podcast. Her name is Bridgette, so welcome Bridgette. Before we get stuck into today's topics, I like to kind of have a little icebreaker question. So Bridgette, what at the moment is kind of lighting you up? What is giving you a lot of passion? What is just, lighting your fire and just giving you momentum in your business and world right now?
So it's a great question. There, right now, what's lighting me up is the end of the year and just like really ending in power. I feel like we have two choices within business, and it's either ending in like regret or ending and just kind of when December comes, being like, okay, it's the end of the year I'm out and checking out. Whereas I'm like, it's the end of the year, I'm ending in power. My purpose, my intention is next year. So I'm starting the ball rolling now. So I'm really using the energetics of December. There's a lot of energy, a lot of movement around in December, and I'm channeling that within my business and really aligned with my purpose and what I want to bring into 2025. And so that's really lighting me up at the moment is like moving, like tuning into the energy of 2025, December, and just like, let's go, like my purpose. And yeah, my business is lighting me up.
Yes, I love that because it feels like as you get towards the end of the year, it's kind of like everyone's like, got this, it's a very draining energy, like, oh, we got to the end, okay. And then people start thinking of their New Year's resolutions for 2025 and be like, oh, I'll think about that, and have that momentum then. But yeah, it's a different, like, why can't we have it now? Why can't we start now? Like, I love that.
It's like the same concept of like waiting till Monday to start
Yeah.
your diet. Like, why not create a life where you don't have to wait, you just do it because you're connected into the what drives you, which is internal, right? So
Mm.
yeah, it's that same concept. Like, why wait till New Year's when everyone's doing these resolutions? Like, why not start now? Like, and then
Mhm.
you have the momentum going, and you can once you get there, you're going to be 10 steps ahead. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's teaching people to dive right in to get started now. Like, why not? So let's start off with how did you kind of start in the area of business that you do? I'd love you to explain a bit more about your business too, but I also love hearing entrepreneurs and especially women in business, their and how they got to where they are now. So yeah, I know it can sometimes be a bit of a story, and I feel sorry for trying to like push this on you to try and put it into a nutshell. But yeah, just give it to us as much as you can in the tiny time frame that we have.
So we'll just do bullet points. So journey started, I've always been really into personal development. 8 years old, I was put on life support, hit by a motorbike. That's a whole story. That really kick-started my belief in we can really change our lives and create change. I was meant to die. And then from there, I went whole life journey and then moved to Melbourne. I went through a lot of trauma through Melbourne, developed addiction, and again I was um, reintroduced to this concept of like we can heal our lives and we can create change in our lives, and it comes down to us and what we're able to do. And so basically, the limits we place on ourselves are the limits that we hold. No one else places our limits on ourselves. So I went on a big journey of like having a quite a heavy addiction um, to then from there really going on a healing journey. And
Mm.
from there, I really, again, I'm really, really interested in human behavior, personal development, all of those things. So I ended up in youth work. I was working with youth. I was working in children in care. It's called Oranga Tamariki in New Zealand.
Mm.
It's basically children in care. So I was first started off in the juvenile facility, and then from there I became a youth worker for the community that I lived in. And I really started to see trauma and how these children were the byproduct of the trauma. And again, it started with the parents and the generational trauma. And so I started to go deeper. And then from there, I went into energy healing. I became an energy healer. And again, I started to see where trauma was showing up, where through the genetics, through all these things. And I started to go into the root causes and connecting in with the physical pains, with the energy, the emotional body, and like looking at the world through a holistic lens and really identifying that the body will communicate to you something that hasn't been resolved, and it also can communicate things that your parents haven't resolved. And then bringing in that youth work that I started to really like dive deep and like, energy healing is amazing, and I feel like it works a certain level, but there was a part that was missing, and that was for me was the mindset. So I was like, hey, how do I expand this? How do I go deeper? And so from there, I studied a few different modalities. I did NLP, hypnosis, and I realized that you could bring it all together. And then coming into the body, and then I went on my own journey with coming into the feminine, and that was kind of the final piece for me. It was like, okay, tapping into my purpose, my mission, and really seeing that I wanted to help women in this lifetime of healing and self-discovery and assisting others on their journey. I realized that we really are superhuman and we really can create the lives that we want. There's just certain things that are in our way and preventing that from us achieving that. And it is within ourselves. It's within ourselves to heal, and it's within ourselves to prevent ourselves from reaching that next level. So yeah, I have been on this journey through business of like, my business started as an energy healing business, and then it was working with both men and women. And I've really gotten clear on I'm here to help women. I'm here to raise the earth's vibration. I'm here to heal the feminine wound. And it comes down to that holistic viewpoint. And I'm also here to help women step into their full potential. And so what I do now within my business is I help women transform their lives, and through that they're able to unlock their purpose and really get connected in with their soul's mission within themselves, and they're able to create and rejig their business to reflect that. And from there we really tap into what abundance is for them. How are they living a life that is like, pinch me, like this is my life, like how do I get to really get to tap into the magic of that? And I help women activate like the feminine codes within, and help other women. So
Mm.
it's a beautiful journey of it's been a beautiful journey of self-discovery and observation and evolving for me, really. It's quite
Yeah.
a journey. Put that in
Sounds
a little.
incredible. I know. Just I didn't even realize the start of your story. Like it's incredible. That's why I said like everyone in this industry, they always have an amazing story. And it's through purpose. Like you're here for a purpose, and what you're doing is so purposeful and so needed. You talked a little bit about the feminine wound. So I have had guests where I've talked to about the masculine and the feminine energy before. Um, what what do you mean by the feminine wound, and how are you kind of helping that with your clients, like through healing there?
Yeah, so there is a what we call the feminine wound. It can be also known as the witch wound, the sisterhood wound. It's a collective consciousness that women hold, and it can be passed down through generational trauma. It can also be past lives. So the unconscious mind will hold on to memories, events, beliefs, emotions from previous lifetimes as well as generations. And so it's embedded in us. It's underneath and we don't realize it. But what the sisterhood wound or the we'll call it the feminine wound, sisterhood wound, witch wound, it's multiple names. The wounded feminine it shows up in ways of fear of being seen, not being able to step into your light, not being able to step into your purpose. A lot of women have a fear of owning who they are, and it comes from women needing to be a certain way, or it can come from way back when women were hunted for being caring or having animals that they cared for, or using herbal medicine. There was a whole it came with the Christian movement, and women that were healers were classified as witches, and so they were hunted. And then other women, in order for themselves to stay alive, had to then call out their sisters, their friends, and to protect themselves. And it's really created this collective consciousness of wounding of women. It is very connected into the throat chakra when we look at it from an energetics perspective, and you look at it through thyroid as well. That's all connected into the same. So thyroid issues for women, and it all comes back to women being suppressed,
Mm.
being hunted, being hung. Like is the whole trauma there, and as women we hold it as a collective consciousness. So
Mm.
yeah, that's something that I feel is shifting, where there's a lot of women starting to step into power, starting to step into their light and connect back into the feminine. There's also a lot of women that will live in their masculine because it feels safer. But yeah, that's what the feminine wound is.
Mm.
um, yeah,
And you said you've worked with both men and women for a while there. So did you find that you noticed, was there a big difference between the clients that you were having, like with common symptoms that they were going through? Were women more likely to be less confident and less willing to step in their own, or you didn't kind of see that?
definitely. You definitely start to see themes when you're working with a lot of people, and when you're working with like a collective a collective wound. So like the feminine wound is like women fear of being seen, showing up online, promoting their business. Whereas with men, I found a lot of it was not being able to express their emotions in a healthy way. So a lot of suppressed anger for men, which shows up in different ways of different addictions, whether it be porn, alcohol. There's so many different. So men are more suppressive in a way of emotional,
Mm.
whereas women are more suppressive in a way of self. And so I find that men are more likely to be very like, look at me, like, yeah. But really deep down, there's this wounded little boy inside that is afraid to express himself and his true feelings. And
Mm.
so, yeah, I found that both men and women have different wounding.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think women are more able to express how they're feeling when it comes to their emotions, whereas that's very unsafe for men, and then it shows up in anger and it shows up in an unhealthy way. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's just interesting to hear from when you have, because I work mostly just with women only, so it's interesting to hear the different dynamics when you're working with both genders. Um, I as you work with a lot of women in business now too, and you're helping them find that confidence within and using energetics to do that, have you then, what's your take on manifestation and attracting abundance and all of that? Because um, when you're in this kind of world, especially on social media, all you'll see is the reels and the clips and all that being like, manifest, you can attract this. Just all you have to do is come up with this big burst of energy. So what's your take on manifestation and how you're helping your clients achieve that in their business?
Yeah, I feel it comes down to the holistic, looking at it holistically. So it is energetically to get in the vibrational frequency of, say, if you're wanting to attract money, for instance, being like, I am wealthy, I'm abundant, I set the intention to receive abundance of money. That is one component to it. And that's the energetic sides. There's also the physical body. So when you connect into that, like how does it show up in your body? Like when you say, I am abundant, I am open to receiving money, is your body in alignment with that, or is your body being like, oh no? And so um if you're connecting with your body and it's saying no, then it's like, okay, well, let's go into the mindset. So we've got the energetics, the energy, the physical, and then the mindset, which is like, okay, what is the belief system here? Because your mind is where it all begins, within the mind, right?
Mm.
So thoughts, beliefs, emotions, they all start within the mind. So there's quite often there's limiting beliefs. So it's like, okay, what is the sensation in my body communicating? Asking the unconscious mind what's coming forth. Very often it is fear, fear of success or fear of failure. There is these are the most common ones. There's also a there's fear, not worthy, not good enough. So those
Mm.
are the biggest blocks in terms of your mindset when unable to manifest. So if you're going, I'm over to receive money, give me money, but then your unconscious mind is like, well, you're not actually worthy. And so your unconscious mind creates your reality. And
Mm.
so there's an information bias here. So if you unconsciously believe that you're not worthy because it's been passed down for generations, or an event happened when you were a child and you were like, can I get that? And then the parents like, no, you haven't been doing what you need to do. And you're like, well, I'm not worthy to receive. And so that's imprinted. And then what happens every time you try and manifest something, unconsciously you're going, I'm not worthy. Your unconscious mind has an information bias. It will only bring in the information to confirm its beliefs to be true. So what we do with clients is what I do with my clients is I help them to, one, yes, we work on the energetics, we do manifesting rituals, we do lots of energetics, get yourself into the state of it, but also we go deeper. Like, what is your body communicating with you? Okay, what are the feelings there? Okay, what's the unconscious mind saying? So I really like to look at it from like a holistic perspective, and
Mm.
also emotions. Like, we store emotions within our body that may be preventing us from, like, fear, preventing us from manifesting what we want. So manifesting is, I think there's four parts to it. And when you look at, that's why I like to treat business as a holistic model rather than just a mindset or a strategy. Like, there is so much to it. There's energetics, there's mindset. And it's also like what feels right for you, because you are running your business and you need to have your body taken care of. So manifesting is the same. I like to bring everything into that holistic model. So yeah, there may be a, like, if someone's trying to manifest something and they're doing the rituals and they're creating the magical scripts and they're really feeling into what they want, or they're saying what they want, perhaps they're missing the feeling into it. And it's if it isn't feeling right in their body, exploring what that sensation is saying. That's
Mm.
the first thing that I would recommend for someone if they've been trying to manifest something and it's not coming. Another part of manifestation, it's not just okay saying the thing, it's also following through with aligned action. So when you speak it, you're sending out codes and agreement, vibrational frequency to the universe, and then the universe is like, okay, cool, well, let's see what the action is. We'll give you opportunities and you need to take action to aligned action. So it's like, oh, if for instance someone's wanting to attract more clients, they're like, okay, universe, bring me more clients. Like, I want to help people in their lives. I'm so ready, and feeling into that. And then the universe is like, okay, we're going to have someone invite you to an event. And then you go, oh, no, I don't want to go to that event. The universe is like, your client was there. You're like, you needed to take aligned action in order to receive what you want. Whereas
Mm.
if you have an idea of sharing something on social media and you go, I'll do it later, and then you don't do it, it's like your ideal client was waiting for you to post that thing so they could feel it
Yeah.
and could respond to it. So it's the energetics, the holistic manifesting, and then the aligned action.
Yeah, it's linking it all together. You put it perfectly because, yeah, that makes so much sense. Because we can sit here all day going, yeah, I want this. I want to have those clients. I want to have that dream success business. And then, as you said, get those opportunities. And you're like, oh, no, but I don't want to do that.
I want it, but it's like when people are like, I want to meet someone, I want to meet a guy, but I want them to come and knock on my door and be like, here I am, I'm ready for you. It's like, it doesn't work like that. You have
Yeah.
to, yeah, you have to show up. You have to do the thing, like, feel into it, be it, and then do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. And it is magical. Like, it really does. Like, when you become and get into alignment and you do the reps, you start to do it. Like, it really does become second nature, and you start to raise the bar for yourself and the frequency you operate at when you're so intentional of what it is you're creating. It becomes second nature, and then you're just like, you realize, like, you think something and boom, it appears. Like, it's like, yeah, it is once you've got into a habit of it, it's really beautiful.
Yeah. I love that. So one of the ways that you are doing this that I've seen you've been sharing a lot is this new program that you've got coming up called Glow Getter. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is a group program that you're doing at the moment. And have you done a group program before?
Yes, yeah. I've
Okay.
done I've done quite a few. I've just finished up the Embodied Goddess, which is more of a feminine embodiment. It's more for women that are on that healing journey.
Mm.
Uh, and then the Glow Getter is a body of work that I have been creating for a very long time. And it is for women who are in business or stepping into business. And I've been saying this phrase, let's glow, for so long.
Mm.
And I didn't have the name for the glow getter at the time, or glow getter at the time. I always say the glow getter. You become the glow getter and
Ah.
the glow getter. So it's a play on words. It is like go getter. So you're a go getter woman. You are a glow getter woman, because I have this belief, and I've heard it a lot on my own healing journey. People always say to me, "You're glowing, like you're
Mm.
literally glowing." And I do believe that when we release what is blocking us, one, we're able to step into our power and our light. We're able to own who we are, and that radiates this confidence, this glow from within. And also, when we go through and we clear those limiting beliefs, we release those negative emotions, like our frequency changes. So we're on a higher vibrational frequency, which has more vibrational glow to it. So that's the name, the reason of the name for glow getter. It's like you're a go getter, but while you're
Yeah.
going for it, you're glowing for it. Like you are, like you radiate. People are like, who is that? I want to be around her energy.
Mhm.
So it's very much using, yeah, it's combining again in business that strategy with energetics. It's
Mhm.
like she's going for it. She's got her strategy and she's also glowing for it. So she's doing the energetic practices as well. So her business can be in optimal health. So it is a 12-month mentorship and
Mm.
it's a group program. So we focus on transformation, purpose, wealth within the Glow Getter method, and that's where we go into the feminine wounds, we go into the fear of being seen, we go into mindset blocks that are preventing women from really stepping up and stepping into their business, or if they're wanting to scale their business, chances are there's something that is blocking them from doing so. And then from there, we really align in with purpose. And this is where a lot of the energetics come in, because when you're in purpose, you're tapped into your heart. Your
Mm.
heart is a vortex, it's a vessel. It allows you to really be in alignment with your manifestations. From there, we go into abundance is really creating your own abundance blueprint. And so,
Mm.
abundance blueprint is really identifying what an abundant life looks like to you. So, you and I will have different versions of abundance,
Yeah.
and particularly, yeah. So, it's like some people like financial freedom. Some people see abundance as travel. Some people see abundance as time. Like there's so many different ways that we can create abundance. And so I believe that when we are women in business, we get to work with the cycles of who we are. And the way that is a masculine way of doing business, we don't need to have as women in business. And so creating an abundance blueprint is really identifying, okay, what is my version of abundance? And then how do I create that? How do I create my business to be in energetic alignment, to be in alignment with my purpose, and for me to create abundance? Because at the end of the day, every woman should wake up feeling fulfilled and go to bed feeling like they have completed their mission for the day. Like they have really given their all, they're proud of themselves, or they've had been able to just rest for the day. Like I think back to when I was working for other people, when I was going through my monthly cycle, and I was never able to rest. It was like day one of bleed, and you don't want to show up, you don't want to talk to people. Like I think when we create our lives and within business, we really work with our cycle, and that's something that we incorporate in the Glow Getter as well. It's like honoring your cycle and where you're at, and moving through the cycles within your business and within yourself. So there's so many components to the Glow Getter, and that's why it is a year long program, because we go through so much. We go into social media as well. there's a content day, there's 4 in-person workshops, as well as 3 calls per month, and where I'll be doing teaching as well as mentorship. It's a lot. It's amazing. It's my biggest body of work I have created, and like I said, I've been creating this for a while. It's something that I've been, yeah, really like fine tuning and thinking back to what I needed when I was stepping into my business and really working with different clients one on one, because I work with a lot of women in business, and really creating this method based off what I have worked individually with each client and what's worked and what's really gotten them results. Like one of my clients is, when we first worked together, she came to me because she wanted to leave her job and step into her business with her husband. And within 6 months, they reached $1 million within their business.
Oh,
And
wow.
that was the work we did, really identified her place as the feminine within the company and the strength that she has and the value she holds within that business. And from that, she was able to get like $800,000 worth of contracts. And was very like, and she did that. She was like, I did that. I was questioning my value 3 weeks ago. And like, being able to find where she fits within the feminine. And it's again bringing that feminine into business. So it's also great for women that are, in companionship and have a business with their partners. And
Mm,
quite often, like if they are in that and they're in like the man is out being the masculine, the doing, the woman are like, I just do the admin, like that's all that I do, and they
mm,
don't see their value that they hold and what potential that when you bring in the fact that the feminine is the being, they create the culture, they create the environment, they create what the workers feel even, and all of that. Like the woman is the nurturer. So in business, if you have a business that is predominantly masculine and you bring a woman in there and really nurture that, the
mm.
business will grow. So yeah, that was one. One bringing that feminine into business. One of my clients was like became a millionaire within 6 months. So it was just like she's like, oh, honestly, Bridget, I do not understand. Like,
Yeah,
how is this my life? She's like, I have pinch me moments every day, and I'm like, yes. So
that's
that's before I get
incredible.
involved.
Yeah, I love the glow getter. I love the sound of it. I love the play on words. And it sounds like it's massive. Like, what a big program, like a whole year. But I, it's even just having that coach by your side. Like, I know, like, everyone having that business coach next to them, cheering them on is just so, it's such a game changer in business, and especially if you're working alone and as a woman, I can feel like then you start to get lost. So this program that you're creating, it sounds incredible. So congratulations for I can't wait to see how it goes for you and next year for all the women and all your clients. In saying that too, you said that you had that one case with a woman who made $1 million in 6 months, which is like incredible. Um, what did you find in 2024 with your one-to-one clients? What did you find were some of the biggest challenges for them? And kind of overall in general, like what was the one that just kept kind of popping up for you?
The first one, it was definitely fear of being seen, like showing up online, being consistent, really advertising their products as well. Like even if they were showing up online, they weren't taught. Like some of them weren't speaking about their product and what they had created. They're just yeah. So it was like really getting clear on that, and what we really with a lot of my clients, what we really did was we narrowed down on their purpose, like
Mm,
really went into it, going back into their soul, like connecting in with their soul's purpose, their star seed, or their
mm, mm,
the essence of who they are. Like, what did you come to Earth for in this time? And a lot
mm,
of them were like close to it, but weren't quite on it. And so there was things that weren't working for them in their business because they weren't quite on alignment. And
mm,
so what we did is we narrowed it down and we really like honed into, okay, what is your purpose? How is that like how do you show up in your business every day to be in alignment with your purpose. And so getting into that, finding where they were out of balance and then getting into alignment and then from there, creating the strategy behind that. Okay, what does this look like? What do you need to do? What's the roadmap? What is the next step? What's the step after that? What's the big picture? And then boom, 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 break it down.
Mm.
And I found that was a big one as well this year. It's like a lot of women, and I think it's coming with that collective rising of we are stepping into more of a feminine space, more of a we're going into the golden age, and it's a feminine energy. So at the moment, there's all these things happening in the world. The systems, the structures that we know are starting to crumble, and that's because it's been very masculine driven. People buy products now based off feeling opposed to logic. So
Mm.
that's a sign that we are stepping into more feminine. People want to feel. That's the feminine. You're coming into a place of like AI that's very masculine, like getting the things done. So we're coming into a world now where people will want connection more than ever. Because
Mm.
AI will be able to take care of the jobs that we don't need to do.
Yeah.
And then the non-humanness, the non-feeling, the woman is the feeling, the being, the masculine is the doing. The
Mm.
AI will do a lot of the doing. And so the world is shifting into this feminine, and yeah, coming into that and coming into the purpose has been so powerful for clients and really stepping into, yeah, the being of things opposed to the doing.
Mm. Yeah, and I can see that this Glow Getter program that you're doing is going to just be that next level for all of them as well. And I do like programs that do like a mastermind, a group program together because you can create that connection with others in the group. And I do believe that women they thrive off community and connection. So what you're creating is going to be a game changer for that. Um, is there anything else coming up in your world that you wanted to let us know about today? A little bit of a plug for everyone.
Just the glow getter. That's really my focus right now. I mean, I have the cacao experience, which is I'm a certified cacao facilitator.
Hmm.
Um,
I
and
saw you just hold one. Didn't you hold one last night? Was it? Yes.
and that was really beautiful, just coming off what you said about creating community. And that's what I really enjoy about the cacao experience is it's a space for women to come. It is open to men, and it's quite interesting that it's quite often just women that come.
Yeah.
And in fact, that space last night, we all celebrated each other and the conversation, yeah, about creating that safety for women. I know there's like the sisterhood word, which is, that judgment or comparison. And I feel like it's really beautiful to create those spaces where women are able to come together and celebrate each other and feel safe and connected with each other. So that's something that I do.
Mm.
Um, I do them every 6 weeks. I will be next year, I'll be shifting to 6 weeks. They have been monthly, but just in terms of my demand, it's going to be going into every 6 weeks. So it's
Yeah.
a space for women and men to come together and really tap. And this is where I get to bring in that energy healer in me. It's where I'm so in my feminine. I'm so nurturing. And like when I'm in my coaching, sometimes I call people forward and I can be quite direct. Whereas like, and when I'm in the cacao experience, I'm very much providing an experience that's very feminine. And it's a whole journey with Mama Cacao, beautiful plant medicine. My mum is a medicinal herbalist, so I've grown up with the land, very shamanic way of life. And so I get to bring that into the ceremonies. It's really beautiful. So that's one thing that I do. I also have a retreat that is launching next year. It's the Abundance Retreat, and it's again for women in business. So there are some women that are in the Glow Getter that will be going to the retreat. However, it's also just a space for women, like you said, creating that community is when we're in business, quite often it can be alone. If you're working from home and you're by yourself, it's really beautiful to get together with women, get that support. I find it really inspiring too when you're around a lot of high value women, like-minded women, and the ideas and women are able to see things that are right there in your field and that perhaps you can't see. So it's really beautiful. There'll be a lot of it's a transformative retreat. So again, we go into the feminine wounds and really clear any blocks that are there, as well as money blocks, because I find a lot of women have money blocks, particularly if they are from a spiritual background, because there's a lot of programming around money and spirituality, and you can't have both, which money is just energy. So you certainly can have both. You can have a lot of both.
Maybe
So
that's so true. Yeah. Mm.
yeah, doing that and embodiment work. So yeah, I have a retreat, the Abundance Retreats in Byron Bay, a beautiful location in Byron Bay overlooking a golf course. It's absolutely stunning. So
Yeah.
that's February the 21st until the 24th next year.
Amazing.
There will be more. Haven't announced those details yet. But yeah.
Oh, that Byron one would be amazing. I literally just got back from Byron Bay, first time I've ever been, and it's beautiful. Like, and it's just got that holistic health feel, like everyone there is just on this health vibe. So,
There's line. So there's like energy portal through Byron Bay that creates it's in the Gold Coast too. So you notice everyone here is like a
yes,
different frequency. You feel it when you go to the likes of like Melbourne. Like there's a difference in the energy, and it comes from like these crystal ley lines under the earth. So it changes the frequency. Yeah. People
that is so. I've never heard of that before, but I was literally just talking to it about it with another business owner who's from Melbourne, and we were saying how, yeah, Melbourne's just got like this different vibe when it comes to business compared to Gold Coast. Like Gold Coast is very like everyone wants to help you, everyone wants to be connected, everyone's on this spiritual journey, and then Melbourne sometimes it can feel a bit more like a bit more hostile in some ways where it's kind of like everyone's focused really on their business and very more competitive and stuff. And I've never heard about that before, so that was really interesting.
a lot of energetics at play. Melbourne's very much one of the places that have a bit more of denser energy, low frequency energy, which is like fear, which is then creates comparison and yeah, so it's an energetics. I lived in Melbourne for 9 years.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, you certainly feel the difference.
Yeah, yeah, that's really cool. I haven't heard of that before, so that's really interesting. It makes sense because I'm from Melbourne and yeah, I grew up there most of my life, so it definitely makes sense. It's just a different vibe, yeah. Well, that is incredible. I love what you're doing and I love the communities that you're creating. It's going to be so helpful for women, especially in business and helping women, as you said, lean into their feminine a bit more, as well as balancing out the masculine, but really taking ownership in their own and becoming their own and becoming confident and being that business owner, that leader that they can be. So if someone was listening to this and they wanted to get in touch with you, is it Instagram the best way? Yeah. All right.
Instagram, Instagram, my website. I find Instagram's
Easy.
bit more feel for me there. So my Instagram is Bridgette Harris Coaching. Um,
Perfect.
at Bridgette Harris Coaching. Otherwise, my website as well is www.bridgetteharriscoaching.com. And then email is bridgette@bridgetteharriscoaching.com. My name is spelled with a Bridgette can be spelled in so many different ways.
I'll put
And
it in the show notes so that
yeah,
people can just click on the link so they know, because it's always the worst, isn't
I
it?
always have to like extra T and an E when I'm like ordering something because I go it the other way. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that's Instagram is the best. Yeah.
Perfect. I'll put those links in the show notes below. Bridgette, thank you so much for coming on. You've given us a wealth of knowledge, and I know this is going to inspire a lot of women in business. So thank you so much. If you want to reach out to Bridgette and let her know if this episode did touch you in some way, I'm sure she'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, thank you all for listening, and I'll talk to you all in the next episode.